We are live.
All right, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hooray.
Welcome to episode 2, I should start, season 4, episode 2 of GURPS Traveller. New deal? All right, so, quick recap. Last week, or I guess it would be, last week, the PCs arrived in the Gazlan system, which is way the heck down there in the Trojan Reach area, following their little jaunt into null space, as run by Com Junkie himself. And upon arrival in system, they were promptly apprehended by the local forces and then interrogated for a while. Eventually, the crew was released, but Admiral slash Captain Glovel had to do a favor for, well, someone. He wasn't entirely clear on whom, which resulted in the Pilgrim traveling from Gazlan to Peridot, and from Peridot to an empty system, seemingly empty system, where you found a mostly powered down ship.
And subsequently called dibs.
Yeah, that's gonna totally work.
Oh yeah. I have faith in the system.
Uh-huh. PCs boarded the boat and discovered, well, it was pretty much empty as far as, well, actually I can't really say that because you didn't go very far. You went from the bridge straight down to the engineering deck, but did find that the power was down, the auxiliary batteries were pretty much depleted, so needed to power this puppy up just to find out what the heck's going on. And the ship came online and then inexplicably took a shot or two or something, you're not entirely sure, at the aimless pilgrim, and then it jumped, which caught everybody by surprise. So, first thing I do note really quick, Ethan, is you'll want to add the tokens for Eris and Jim.
Yeah, I'm currently attempting to find them.
Under tokens. I guess I can do that if I can find them faster.
Oh.
Remind me
I
what
was
our
looking for the
actual
avatar pictures.
mission was.
We were supposed to investigate the ship, and that was about all I think we were really given.
Well, I don't know if it was an actual mission. Our mission was to go home. This is just a detour.
Yeah, but we were told to go here and do something. I don't remember what it was.
See if there's survivors and all that sort of stuff.
Well, we actually could have gone home, but Ella promised us to come help retired Admiral what's his face to come do this, because as part of him negotiating us out of prison, he agreed to take this mission to come out here and investigate this ship, or I guess investigate whatever's here. They were detecting some power readings or something that should.
That's right. They got a signal. That's what it was.
Which
Phil,
led you to the crazy. Yes.
could I ask you to lock token scale on the sector map?
Hold on. There's no tokens.
I'll
Needs
put
a
a
token.
I'll put a pin down. Hang on.
Technically, I think that's a subsector map, not a sector map.
All right, there's a pin in the hex word.
Token scale is locked.
Sweet.
7th token is locked in place.
So we forgot to reshare that just as a reminder, so we don't forget. Okay, so I am going to try some weirdness during this little story arc thing. So I am actually going to open this one with another sort of kind of flashback, but not entirely a flashback. As stated in the previous game time, when the Drake powered up and you guys heard over the comms Gloval freaking out as the ship took a shot at the Pilgrim, Buck reached for the emergency shutoff and his hand froze in place. Right now, Buck, you can feel let's call it a foreign presence in your brain that honestly shouldn't be there. There's
That's
this
unfortunate.
there's this momentary sensation of pain that inexplicably reminds you of peeling a Band-Aid off of a wound. You know how that gets caught on something and it just like, ow.
Yeah.
And then you find yourself as a child once more. Although this isn't something you actually really remember, you can feel that you are in, pain all over. And the adult that's you sort of recognizes it because honestly you've had some experience with this. You recognize it as the after effects of like a vehicle accident or something, because there's been entirely too many crashes. The pain is pretty distant though. It's like you've got some painkillers or something, and so you just feel really really loopy and distant, and you can hear some adults talking. The first adult sounds really familiar for some reason, but you don't know why. He asks, "You're sure he won't remember this?" To which the second adult, who has a kind of a strange accent, replies, "I am, my lord. The memories I have implanted will override what he was. For all intents and purposes, your young cousin died in that accident. This young man is wholly different now. He will have no memory of you or his true past. Your ascension will be unimpeded." At which point, adult number one responds with, "Good. Take him far away then, some distant planet where he can live out his years and die in peace. I cannot be a kinslayer." And then you get a momentary glimpse of that first adult, and the guy is really, really familiar, but you're not sure why. So now, I'm going to have you cast this guy. He's 15 to 20 years older than Buck, so I think that's going to put him between 45-ish and 50-ish.
Okay.
And then we're back to the normal time period. See, I sort of did that with Ella, and I did it with Buck. Now I'm going to try to do it with somebody else next week. So, we have just made a sudden, unexpected transition to jump space. Alarms are blaring all over the ship immediately, which are warning of multiple system failures, various other emergencies, etc., etc. As I understand it, if I recall correctly, Ella and Eris and NPC Abe are on the bridge. Buck and Eddie are actually in engineering, and Hank and Cy were in that midsection between the stairs and engineering. I don't actually know where Jim is located.
He
It's a trap.
was on the bridge, I thought. Is he and Ella on the bridge?
Jim, not Eris, Jim.
Oh.
I'd just
Wasn't-
probably have him down there exploring with
Wasn't he
everyone.
outside?
That would be hysterical.
He's hanging onto the side, and you hear this like R2D2. Woo!
No, I believe he did bring him aboard.
Yeah, I know we were talking about having him scout ahead for us, and I don't think he actually did that.
Hold on, I'm checking something really quickly.
Oh, something to note about Jim is remote control ability. Something, if Eris, if you, yeah, I think we talked about it. Eris can control Jim out and basically ride in Jim out to a range of 5 miles. Jim's remote control capabilities, like you can remote control him like a regular drone, out to 10 miles. But Jim can also act autonomously out to whatever distance, but you won't get a feed. His radio is only a 10-mile radio at service.
Yep, I do remember that.
I believe that's normally atmospheric, so the ranges are different in vacuum.
Oh, right, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just
I think they're
FYI.
10x, but I'm not sure about that.
All right. So, before we go any further, I need everyone to make a spacer check, please. And as to the question, Hank can absolutely tell that you guys have jumped. He's a born spacer.
Oh, what a waste.
What does
Not only did we
default
jump,
to?
I think the weapon's fired. I don't know. What is spacer default?
Eris. Oh, Eris doesn't have spacer?
He does not have
Ah.
a laser.
An IQ
Oh.
easy.
Oh, is it?
Basic 185.
Given that this is a Traveller game, we should probably post a link in the Traveller Facebook group.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. You can probably just share mine from my page into it.
Yeah, I seem to recall.
It
having
looks like it's
mentioned it a long
IQ
time
minus
ago.
4.
Then I failed by 2.
All right, so it looks like Eris is the only one that isn't really cognizant of this. Everybody else, especially Sai, I got to figure out what else that
I know.
critical success is going to be.
The
But no,
weapon's fired. It felt like, it felt like the weapon's just fired.
well, it's not just that. It's this jump. You're all able to tell that you have actually jumped, but this feels weird. It's like rougher than normal. Everything seems to be almost slower than it should. It's not quite to the extent of the wormhole / warp scene in the first Star Trek movie, but it is kind of similar. It's like, where whatever it is that you try to do is a half second later than it should.
I'm starting to think space travel may not be 100% safe.
That might be the case. Although, to be fair, we actually haven't had any misjumps in this campaign.
Am I still frozen?
You are
How do we
not.
know that?
Yes, we did. Remember, we
Okay.
jumped into that in Mark's one shot, where we jumped in and found a crashed ship on its
I
own.
wasn't there, so that would
wasn't
explain
really a
why.
misjump, though.
It explains why I don't remember that, because I missed that session.
I think we just got pulled out a jump for that.
I'd class that as a misjump.
All right, so what are we doing?
Diagnostic, trying to figure out what's going on. With the engine.
Ella gets on communicator and Buck, what happened?
I don't know. Checking.
Yes, based on your quick scan of that, you're like, okay, somehow you're not entirely sure how you manage this when you just were trying to boot up the stuff so you could review the cameras and such. You managed to bring everything online. So, way to go? Question mark? But
Apparently turning on main power activated a jump that had been pre-programmed or something.
Great.
Closest I can tell.
So, do we know where we are?
Actually, we ought to be able to look at the nav
Space.
computer and find out where it's pointed.
you're in jump space. If you recall, jump
Yeah.
space is normally you normally are in jump space around 7 days.
Yeah, and the route should be, like the calculations the navigator made should be in there. Or tape, if it was a tape.
Yep, so let's do that. Let's see if we can figure out from the ship's computers where we're going.
Aren't you the navigator now?
Am I?
The system immediately starts, it's obvious that the computer is obviously beginning to boot up and such. And down a level. How would you go down a level? Down a level from where you're at, Mark, would put you in that bottom hangar thing, which if you recall, I said from
Oh,
their
isn't
back
immediately
is actually fuel.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
So honestly, it wouldn't be necessarily fuel. It'd be like fuel tanks. I guess you could potentially go down there. Yeah.
Well, I'll go forward and then down.
Yeah, you could potentially go down. Never mind. It's just that's mostly fuel tanks. Right. So the computers are booting up, and it immediately, as soon as you start going, hey, I would like to know where we're going, it starts prompting you for passwords, login information, etc., etc.
Haxing. Or
1,
actually,
2,
Eris, but
3,
Haxer.
4, 5.
That's the same password as my luggage.
Try password.
What's your computer hacking, Eris?
14.
Oh, okay. No, mine is better. I will try to hacks.
Let's see. I wonder if you can while you are there. You would end up
probably not.
Yeah, you would end up having to go back to the bridge.
Yeah.
Eris can do it.
Well, that's not necessarily true.
It's a crappy design, remember?
Well, I suppose that's another matter.
Right. Sai is heading towards the deck crew. Let's see. So, is he just? Go ahead.
Take some
Oh.
extra time. No, don't go too fast. We're not familiar with this system.
Yeah, he wants to hit that big red flashing self-destruct button.
It shines so bright.
Let's see. I think you guys are. I'm not. This is not a combat thing, but I am going to probably use the tracker here just for ease of purpose and such like that. So, Sai, you are progressing through that area. Are you investigating? Are you just going forward? What are you doing? Describe.
Yes. So he'll kind of do the move and kind of clear, yeah. Make sure that there's nothing immediately of threat by the rooms. So he'll kind of like try the door. If it doesn't open, he'll move forward, and continue to try and get to the hold section.
Okay.
And he will look up.
Sorry, that's an old in joke. How many times did you get burned by that, Mark?
Too many.
More than once.
Enough that you look up in real life.
When gaming life affects your real life. Most people don't expect an assassin to be hanging out on the ceiling.
Most people that haven't roleplayed
Or watched Pink Panther movies. Remember the time Kato was waiting for him on the ceiling?
good times.
No, not really.
Yeah, when he came in with his groceries, he was telling Kato not to attack him because he had told him to attack him randomly to keep him sharp. And then he explored the whole house and figured that Kato wasn't there and relaxed, and that's when Kato fell on him from the ceiling.
Yeah, I barely remember those movies. Okay. So did that counter show up?
Yes.
Yes.
Body icon?
Yep.
Yes. Right. So you trigger the door open at that first one, and this is about what you would expect in terms of design for the room itself. I'm thinking this one first. So it looks like the cabin has a bunk bed, desks, some lockers, stuff like that. It just looks like what you would expect on a sort of a naval ship. The one on the right, when you open it, the first thing you discover is there's a person who seems to have hung themselves in here. You're not quite sure how they managed that, but
Is there a puddle of water on the floor?
Puddle of what?
Water.
Well, if there was, it would have been frozen because there was it was all vacuum in here until Buck conveniently started powering everything up.
I take it you haven't heard that sort of lateral thinking riddle. There's a man
Guess
in
not.
There's a man in the room. There's nothing in the room. No tables, no chairs, no nothing. He has hung himself, but there's a puddle of water on the floor. How did you do it?
Standing on a block
of ice.
Seems pretty obvious.
Yeah.
How can there be a man in the room and nothing in the room?
Checkmate.
Mind blown.
That sort of reminds me of that the old school D&D where you have you have a 10 by 10 room and there's a dragon in it, and then you figure out the dragon's 15 by 15. No wonder that son of a bitch attacks you at first sight.
And there's 6 of us in there, and we each have a 10-foot pole.
I'm just thinking the dragon's pissed off because he's stuck in this 10 by 10 room.
And you're taking up his space.
Okay, so Eris is going to begin hacksawying. Gotcha. That'll
And
take
the ship
some
begins
additional
to
time.
spin. As soon as the rounds start, Hank inside takes off. Hank is gonna get everybody on TACnet and start bringing it up, since everybody's kind of splitting off, and try to get into size feed. At which point he will see said suicide and react to it.
How does he react? Does he go?
Yes, he makes the speed racer surprise sound.
Ah!
Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
I suspect you are now locked out.
Peterson.
Buck, is there anything you can do?
Probably lock the whole system up. User
With an 18, yeah.
I'll be up there in a minute. I'm existentially worried about the stability of our jump bubble right now.
Eddie will throw his hands up in the air and say, "I didn't touch anything," looking over to Buck.
Something that let me double check and make sure that this is still the case. Yes, something that the PCs are aware of, but I suspect the players are not, is Eris is apparently a klutz.
They put a
Great.
password on their firmware. Who does that?
Military?
Well, now I know.
Didn't you work for the military?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah. I would have expected the response to be, oh yeah.
So, yeah, Eddie will just go, "I don't know. I didn't touch anything."
Maybe Eris did it.
How can I help? To Buck, of course.
I don't know, get some warm towels.
Eddie will sort of cringe at the lame dad joke. I'll just sit here and supervise, hey?
Okay. Hopefully there will still be something to supervise in a few minutes.
I hope so too.
Okay, Ella is going to, when it seems that Eris has had no luck, she's going to kind of look around to see if there's anything that might give a clue what a password would be, or a way into the system, or a flight manual, or
Post-it
something.
note on the monitor.
Yeah, something. So I guess, should I do like a search roll or something?
Yeah, I think that would probably work. Although her being military, she knows it's going to be kind of unlikely that they're going to keep that there. That's really really bad.
I know.
she also knows humans are really dumb.
This is
Mhm.
also true. Let's see. So in this case, yeah, it doesn't look like there's necessarily anything that indicates what the login password would be. Alas.
Oh well. So
It was a good thought.
Yeah, so do we remember there being like any captain's quarters or anything on our way up here?
Let's
We
see.
came in through the top, so you haven't actually been anywhere in the ship yet.
Okay. Alright. So I'll end my turn, but next turn she may actually go try some doors.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that would let's see where I believe the officers' quarters are actually there. Those, which is kind of weird, but mediocre design apparently. All right, Buck.
Okay, the jump not feeling right and feeling weird has me very, very concerned for our survival. So I'm going to continue to inspect the jump drives and figure out what's going on and figure out if our jump bubble is stable or if we're about to die. You know, engineer stuff.
Right. So, based on that stuff, it looks like all of that is showing in the green,
Oh, okay. Well, that's a relief.
which is kind of weird to you because it definitely feels off somehow.
Yeah, I'll report back to the bridge that the jump does appear to be stable. And I'm on my way to the bridge. Come on, Eddie.
Eddie will point towards the back of the ship. Shouldn't we check that out first?
Go ahead. Captain told me to come to the bridge. Slap him on the shoulder. You got this.
What's the worst that could happen to him?
Unlucky.
Sucked out the airlock.
Okay, that is no, well, it's not necessarily the worst, but it's definitely right up there. Sai, so you progress forward through there. Some of it's like one of those is locked. It just seems like it's probably standard sealed. Another is okay. There's nothing in it. You will find in that area. You will find two additional bodies in those crew quarters. One of them appears to have slashed her wrists, and the other appears to have choked to death or been strangled or strangled themselves or something. Ah, okay, so he was putting that there. Gotcha. I was like, afraid my TeamSpeak went wonky again.
Oh, sorry. I'll report that he is finding bodies, and that Captain, that I'm finding some eerie shit down here.
Ella will be like, thanks for the report. We really need to get into the ship's computer to find out what happened. Is there anyone with you?
Hank.
Okay,
Well, I'll say Hank, Buck, and Eddie are on this level. I'll be purposely vague.
You know we've got everybody on TACnet now, so we're tracking everybody's positions.
And then he realizes, oh crap, we're on TACnet.
Well, I didn't lie. I just said they're on this level.
It's true.
I wouldn't lie to the captain.
Is that true?
Not when it's important. Besides, I'm overconfident.
He'd lie to Abe.
Hey, he feels bad about that. Deep down, he does feel bad about that.
Is that a lie?
That's actually not a lie.
I'm not going to abuse that at all.
Because, well, okay, he feels bad about it. Because Abe is his friend. And he does know that under the circumstances, Abe has been put through some rather crazy stuff, and likely his fault. But he also is, he was like, well... Actually, he probably doesn't even know really the whole, story behind it.
Right, so. Eris.
Basically, just wait and mutter a little bit and get angry at the computer, maybe smack him.
Yeah, you're like looking at that, going, damn it. Yep, it's completely locked out.
Yep.
It's got that hole. You have exceeded the number of attempts. Please contact your system administrator.
I would, but he's dead, and you didn't leave a comm code.
And Sai's looking at this person who's cut her wrists, and she's like, "Hey, I found a communication or a system admin down here, but she looks dead."
Does she happen to have a piece of paper in her pocket with the password on it, or a how to reset the computer 101?
Yeah, probably not.
Had to try.
Well, Hank's got Sai running in the sub window, and he'll go over here and check these quarters in his area. I presume one of those is the captain.
Yeah, they look like standard crew cabins. They do have just a single bed instead of a bunk, though. And there's obviously the desk area. You look at it, you probably presume, yeah, the captain's in one of these. Because they're going to have that. He's going to have the thing on the wall, look how awesome I am, that all senior military commanders have.
No bodies?
There do not appear to be any bodies in here, no. Except maybe the ninja. But you can't see the ninja.
Oh. Enemy drone, I shoot it.
And then he turns around and perforates you.
Jim is going to be just kind of floating around, checking the rooms, more scanning for targets and other non-deceased and or deceased corpses that we have not been identified.
I was going to say we're not going to find any non-deceased corpses here, but we have seen that recently, so...
Eddie's moving into the...
No, he's not.
Okay.
That door is vacuum sealed, and it is indicating a minor radiation issue on the other side. You You can go through it, but it'll take a while to open up.
Alright, over comms, since Buck is on his way to the bridge, he'll say, Buck, we have a radiation leak back here. Does the door panel or whatever indicate the level of a radiation leak? You know, is it in the red, orange, minor?
Just a second.
He did say minor when he first told you about it, so maybe there is some indication.
Is it still pressurized on the other side?
It looks like it is minor. It was not there previously, so it may be building. It does also look like the other side is reporting no atmo.
Now, we're all in vac suits here, and vac suits
Correct.
are good for radiation, so you should be able to take a minor radiation
He's
leak.
got a crappy vac suit, though.
You get
No,
a lot
it's
of radiation in space. It
It's
has
not
to
a
be
crappy
proof
vac suit,
against
it's
it.
just not a combat vac suit. In that case, Eddie will say, the radiation appears to be rising fairly slowly. We do have a vacuum on the other side, and from what I can tell, this wasn't the case before the jump. I think you should have a look at this, Buck.
You have the space biosuit, right?
Smart vac suit.
Ah.
All right, Ella is going to be watching Sai and Hank's feeds, kind of flipping back and forth between the two, and she'll say over comms, be on the lookout for any sort of like written logs or anything that we could use to just get some more information about what happened here. And based on what Eddie found, I think she'll go ahead and tell Buck to go ahead and head down to verify that the radiation leak is okay, because that's more pressing than getting into the computer, since we're going to be in jump for a while.
Heard.
Roger,
Sorry
Cap.
for the jingling in the background. That is the cat.
Evil
Thought you were gonna blame it
cats.
on me for a second.
That's a good idea. Put jingles on the cat so you can't trip over him.
Put jingles on Eddie.
Where is our ship's cat?
With the
He's with Sam.
pilot, with Sam, and the ship.
It's on Perazlo, conquering all of the other cats.
Psi powers.
Abe is proceeding down to the science deck. He failed a curious check, too.
All right, I'm gonna about face and rush back to where Eddie is and see if I can see anything different than he sees.
All right, get there, and it does in fact look like it is rising, but on the other side. But this particular hatch is indicating that it's only potentially dangerous if you open the hatch and or go through, which is probably standard in these kind of vessels. That's why you have the vacuum seal and stuff like that.
So dangerous unsuited, right? Like, I'm fine in combat armor. Or space armor.
Presumably.
Alright, I'm gonna go through and see what's causing it. Because if it's getting worse, it could go critical or something.
All right, so it's going to take you a while to unlock that because it's doing the up fully pressurized. You're going to have to do the usual nonsense, even though you've got power in the ship.
Okay.
You're kind of getting the feeling, oh yeah, I sort of see why a lot of people didn't like this particular model.
Got it.
Because there's a bunch of why does that do that? That doesn't make any damn sense. All right, so
Back to you, Sai.
So you are progressing forward.
Yes, sir.
So you get there, the room on your left looks like laundry. And give me a perception check in the box.
Vision based.
Yes. Right. So you give it a quick glance and you take a step forward, because you're heading towards the gallery, and then you just sort of wait a minute and check back, and you're not positive, but you think there might be a body stuffed in the dryer.
Dirt.
Captain, stuff's really weird here. Somebody, I can't be sure, and I'm not sure if I want to check, but I think there's a body stuffed in one of the dryers.
Yeah, if one of these people's cut his own eyes out, I'm getting off this ship regardless if we're in jump.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm starting to it's like, Captain, I remember this really crazy, like ancient, historical record,
That's right. It's a
Horror
historical
movie.
record as far as they're concerned.
There's some familiarity with what's going on here, and I'm not liking it, Captain. Moving forward, continuing to move forward.
Yeah. So then there's the galley. It's a mess. Frankly, it looks like, I don't know, somebody had a rugby game in here or something. It's just all sorts of stuff knocked over, tossed around. The port side obviously has the dining table. Along the walls, there's like the beverage station. There's a big video screen. You have that sort of stuff. On the starboard side is the kitchen, and it looks like it's mostly for the so-called meals ready to eat. 3 lies in one. Crawling into a dryer is self-inflicted. Yeah, I guess if you crawled into the dryer.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Maybe he tumbled in there.
Ah, we see what you did there.
Would it be possible to try a computer's electronics repair, see if there's a way of doing a hardware reset?
That would be computer repair, wouldn't it? So sort of reset,
Would that
try
be
to.
repair or use?
Well,
Well, if it's locked out, I think I have to go into the actual hardware, which to me seems more electronics repair computers.
there was electronic repairs computer. I thought it was just computer repair.
I cannot say. That's just what I have as electronic repair computer.
No, I don't think so.
Nope, that's not wrong. My mistake, your fault.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I suppose in that case, you could potentially do that, where you're basically you're like, screw this crap, I'm gonna try to go through the BIOS and stuff like that, and throw in, surprise, I have a new sysadmin password.
Just don't turn off the ship. While
That
it's in
would
motion.
potentially be bad.
Well, I almost turned off ship.
I apparently gave him my dice for tonight.
Can we trade?
Apparently, you're doing everything you. Oh man! I just factory reset this damn thing.
I think he might have.
So guys,
Wouldn't that be more of a critical failure?
Also, I need you, Ethan, I need you to do a dex roll into the box, please.
For Eris or
And
It's going to be a real
Eris.
short trip.
For Eris, and this is going to be something you will probably, I'm going to be doing fairly frequently with you because you're a klutz.
Apparently.
And it specifically says make a dex roll to get through the day without doing a pratfall, dropping books, or knocking over shelves filled with fragile items. So yes, he failed. So yes, you're like, yeah, this is gonna be. I can do this. This is a kind of a crappy system, fairly obsolete, because you know how it is. This thing was. When was the Fifth Frontier War? I think it was like 10 years ago or something like that.
Something like that.
So
11.
So yeah, that's about 11 or 10 to 12 years ago then, yeah. So, and we know how wildly different computers are from 10 years ago. So you're like, yeah, okay, this is really obsolete OS. I haven't seen this in a while. I can do this, and you start messing around with it, and then you're like, oh crap, because you do seem to have reset it to factory defaults.
Jesus.
Well, at least it makes getting into the system, but pretty much all the data have been wiped.
So
Easier
guys,
to get in.
So good news.
That controlled most of the stuff.
It's kind of a good news, bad news situation.
So good news. You can probably now access like the computer and stuff like that with admin. But bad news, you've probably overwritten or deleted like nav logs and stuff like that.
Oh, it wouldn't delete the logs, I wouldn't think.
He failed.
Yeah, he only failed.
You can critically
Crappy.
fail.
Critical.
Just means
Nah.
he failed to reboot it.
It just means it's going to take, pulling the drives and not, because like when you, as long as you don't low-level format a hard drive, the data is still there. It's just a zero placed in front of it.
Unindexed. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have to pull the drive and put it on something else that can read it better.
Oh, I know what he did. He tried to do a restore point before he screwed up the password.
Nobody
It's
told him that never works.
It's Daniel working on computers.
Hey, I haven't had that problem in a really long time.
Okay, it's Daniel in the past working on computers.
So that's a big doll.
I didn't
Hank.
mean to, guys, I swear.
Hank is going to check a little more around the area, go through the bathrooms, and poke his head in the hangars.
Let's see. Bathroom. They're broken into obviously two parts. You got toilets, sinks, bathroom supplies, showers, sinks, toilets. There do not appear to be any corpses in here, and the toilets themselves are completely enclosed chambers. So neither one was probably gender segregated. So yay.
Yeah, well, he'll be checking for occupants.
Let's see. So the hangar bay, there are, as indicated, there are sparrowhawks in there. Those are pretty old. In fact, you probably haven't seen them in a while. You're like, oh wow, man.
Mark 1s.
Fun.
It's like
They
going from
were-
the Viper Mark 7s to the Mark 2s.
Yeah, they were known for being, having really good thrust, being pretty fast, but not particularly tough. Let's see. So
And they're not wirelessly integrated.
Of
yes,
course.
for whenever you run into the Cylons. Yeah, if you're gonna do that, make sure to kill Eris first because you know he's gonna betray you.
What?
Yep.
Would I? No, never. Is
It's
that a
already
blonde
started
woman over
by
there?
screwing up the computer.
I know. Maybe it was intentional.
Huh. Well, if this does turn out to be one of those like Event Horizon scenarios, we all will end up killing each other before too long.
Which one of us wins that fight?
Jim, the drone.
Jim.
Probably.
Although Hank,
He cannot allow you guys.
yeah,
Would Jim kill Eris?
He's the first one he kills.
but yeah. Well, Eris would probably use Jim to try and kill us all. As long as Jim isn't of a mental, he's an AI. I don't know if he would. The nuances of horror would be.
Hey, magic.
Does he dream?
He
Does he
dreams
dream
of
of
electronic
electric
sheep.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, these things when they dock, they come. Let's see. There are identical booms in the ceiling over each of the bay doors. The fighter comes in for docking. They are guided to those booms, which attach to a coupling mechanism. Then it can like hang suspended and stuff like that. There do not appear to be any bodies in here.
Any of the anything interesting about any of the fighters in general, like they've been messed with?
Not off the top of your head. It just I don't know how familiar he is with fighters. They look like they haven't really been used.
Are they dusty? I guess I'm not going to look that close. I'm just scanning right now.
I have no idea how to answer that because I don't know how dust works in 0G.
Well, it's not 0G though.
Not
Or is it
anymore.
0G in the
It was 0G.
right. Yeah, that's true.
And actually, hold on. I think there is internal gravity in the berth is usually kept off until the bay doors are sealed. So, well, right now it would have been 0G throughout the ship until the stuff's boot up. So, yay, he booted up the stuff.
Which will probably allow you to get the cameras.
But he does not see a great deal. Apart from the fact of, ooh, shiny fighters, old fighters. And I guess Jim's just sitting there sweeping, scanning.
Yeah, sweeping, scanning, mapping out the ship, etc., etc.
He has that Cylon drone. Whoa,
I
whoa,
know, right?
whoa, whoa.
Or is
The
that
evidence was always there. The kit was a Cylon.
Oh, did I forget to mention that I made an upgrade to his visor? It now has a light. It now has a light that swooshes from the left to right.
Yep.
Change the color to red.
Alright, what level of radiation is this at?
Is
I,
his suit screaming at him?
I posted some examples of rads. So fallout after a blast is like 120 to 300 rads per hour. A day later, that would be 5 to 10 rads per hour. A reactor incident, so like Chernobyl, would be 1,000 rads per hour. So what level of radiation is in this place? You can accumulate 10 rads of radiation fairly safely.
I guess the real question there is it more than the suit will allow to comfortably exist in?
All the suit does is prolong the rate.
Right, but it's going to increase. It's going to increase how much you can take before it's a bother.
Well, if you recall, currently your suits are not detecting any. It's not throwing the radiological alarm right now. And that is simply based on the door. The door is basically saying this area is sealed off, such like that. As to the level, I honestly don't know what that would be classified as. If
You did say
the-
minor.
Okay,
when you
so
first told him about it.
yes,
answer it this way: is it instant death to go through that door?
no.
Okay, how long till death?
Yeah, I was
Well,
about to
that
say, that's
depends
not
on
the way
whether it
works.
keeps. That depends on. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say anything in triple digits could kill you within a couple of weeks.
Well, I
No.
suspect.
Triple digits per hour will kill you in that day.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were in it for an hour, you'd probably be dead within a few weeks.
If it's low level, at a guess, I would estimate probably 5 rads per hour. That means unprotected. You could reasonably safely work 2 hours in it, and beyond that, you start getting radiation sickness.
Yeah, and never go near a reactor again for the rest of your life after that 2 hours.
So
Working
much
next-
for staying a spacer, right?
Yep.
Your body will heal 10 rads per day.
We've also got Ultratech meds here, so whatever damage it does is probably not going to be permanent.
Though it says 10% of the original dose never heals, except without Ultratech stuff and magic.
So it's not that dangerous yet. So I'm going to go in there and find out what's causing it, try to turn it off.
Yeah, and Buck and Ella are going to be 5 times better off than the rest of us.
So Buck is in the process of trying to open the hatch. Eddie, sounds like Eddie is consulting the stuff to make sure. Am I going to die instantly if once this is open? Eyeing Buck's we own our power armor effectively with a little bit of envy at this point.
All right, so Eddie's going to follow Buck in to see if
Well,
he can
Buck is
assist.
still in the process of unlocking it. It's having to be manually done. It's like since the system did detect a radiological event on the other side, it is firmly secured. He's having to jump through hoops to get through it.
Would electronics op security systems help run a bypass?
It could potentially help.
I'm pretty sure he's already got that.
Would it help if somebody rebooted the computer on the bridge?
Yeah, Eric's like, yeah, about that.
Not if you're right in the middle of it at the time.
Ah, okay.
And I think you were right in the middle of it when he fracked it up. That Eris. You
So
gotta keep an eye
Eddie
on
will assist
Fine.
unless Buck doesn't have the skill.
Or elbows him in the face.
Oh, no, go ahead. I mean, because I think what I'm doing is manual, right? So you can go ahead and just try to open it the sneaky way while I'm doing the grunt work down here behind this panel next to it.
I've got an idea. I've seen this sort of panel before. Hand me a screwdriver. And then Eddie will pry off the panel and go grab a couple of wires and twist them together. And he goes, that ought to do it.
And he manages, the two of you manage to eventually get the door open. And as soon as it does, both of your suits do start announcing, potential danger. Not, you're about to die, but hey, we've got some much higher than normal radiation detected.
Don't hang out there.
Where's it coming from?
Farther in.
So, to put a figure on it, 5 rads per hour.
Sure.
5 rads per hour is like a day after, fallout a day after a nuke. If it's not that much, then decide.
No, that's fine. All right, Ella.
So basically, Ella is still in her process of trying to hunt up something in the bridge, and she hears Eris say, "Oh crap!" And her head snaps around. What did you do?
It's not so much what I did, and more what the computer did in response to what I did. And
Nope. She holds a hand up with her fingers kind of tapping together, like, what did you do?
The computer is somewhat reset.
How reset?
To the extent that it is.
Hey, I'm no longer locked
Well,
out.
I mean, I'm not locked. Yeah, I'm not locked out anymore. That's good news. But it's lost a fair bit of data.
It might explode.
All right. So Ella very slowly just leans forward and plants her forehead on the console in front of her, and thus ends her turn.
Nice.
You made the captain head desk.
Is that worse or better than a facepalm?
A head desk is worse.
Abe will, across the comm, announce to, mostly to the captain, and it's like, I just entered medical. I've got 3 bodies here.
You might want to prep for radiation treatment.
Are we needing to pop a anti-rad?
Right away.
Redix. No, one of them is for before and one of them is for after. I don't remember
Right away is
which.
for after. Radix's gives you resist to radiation.
One of these days, I'm gonna actually play that damn game.
Oh, it's so
and
fun.
and having seen Mel popping up on Steam as playing Fallout, I'm gonna defer to her knowledge right now. So yes, Abe is like, I'm in medical. I've got 3 corpses, and anybody who's jumping into his headset can see there are 3 bio beds, and there are 3 bodies there.
They have uniforms. Can we potentially identify their rank at least?
Let's see. Abe is going to have absolutely no idea about the rank.
But if we're looking over the feed, you can maybe see that.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Let's see. Well, one of them, let's see, where the heck is the rank on there? Is it going to be shoulders or, who cares? So one of them will be, like a mid-level non-com, petty officer 2 or 3. And the other 2 are probably lower level spacers. Crewman, first class, whatever.
What about the guy that was on the bridge when we first opened it?
You couldn't tell from him because if you remember, he was completely scalded and burned alive. So whatever clothes he had
Right.
were burninated. Okay, so right, yeah, I guess we can just push through Buck since you and Eddie are basically working together.
Well, we got the door
The
open, right?
not that you got the one in forward engineering. The one in aft engineering is also sealed the same way.
Oh man. Okay.
And the
Will
farther
that require another roll?
yeah, that's gonna when we'll come back around there. That is the deeper you get, it does seem like the rad level is ticking up the farther to aft, or the closer to aft you get. So we will roll for those when they come around.
Moving forward.
Is he like all grimacy and stuff like that right now? Sounds like he is. It's like, I don't want to go into this room. What am I going to see in this room? Right, so that is an auditorium. It looks like it's packed with sensor targeting equipment, stuff like that, but probably serves as like a ready room briefing area. Yeah, I guess a church thing if they want to do that. There's the podium on the raised dais at the front, and there's flanked by large video screens behind to either side. And to his lack of surprise, there are 4 bodies in here. All 4 of them are sitting in chairs, but they just seem dead. He doesn't know why or how. Ah, interesting.
Still got their eyeballs.
That hatch actually goes into one of the turrets. Kind of weird. Oh, yeah, they just seem dead. They're not like, scalded to death or missing eyeballs or any of that weirdness. Just dead.
if I find a scanner's a body that's head's exploded, I'm gonna be a little miffed. I will actually examine these bodies because they seem to be a little less, trauma.
He goes up to the podium, he tells a joke, nobody laughs. He said, "This crowd is dead."
Tough
And
room.
that's when we murdered Daniel, Your Honor.
And that's when the ships the bays opened up and sucked Hank right out the ship.
Okay. Does Sai have diagnosis?
Nope.
Thought he did. No, he's
does
got
he?
first aid.
First aid.
Hold on, let me look that up.
I'm more about putting people in a state of unlife than figuring out why they're in a
Diagnosis
state.
apparently. Wow. Diagnosis defaults to IQ -6, first aid -8, physician -4, or veterinary -5.
That's odd. That it would be first aid -8 versus IQ -6.
It is a little weird.
Nope. They're dead.
Yeah.
That's about all I can tell you.
Yep,
And he'll
they seem
proceed
dead
to-
to you.
He'll kick open the he'll flip the switch to see if there's anybody in the turret port, expecting yet another body. Now, if there's a green ball in there that's glowing, I'm out.
It'll
Totally
dissolve
out.
you before you can run.
That's true. I probably have. It's too late for me.
Save yourself, please. Nope, no body.
Well, whatever was firing the weapons wasn't firing it from a turret. I'm heading down. Next level. Cargo deck.
Actually, would we have gotten a sense of where that action was occurring?
No, it was too it was, if you recall, the communications were also scrambled during that. So not she, but Glovo was able to relate. Yes, I have been fired upon, but he wasn't necessarily, he wasn't clear on exactly how or how much damage. And then there was lots of interference, and then you jumped.
Well, what was it firing?
You don't know.
I mean,
Unless I don't understand your question.
If it was a physical thing, if it wasn't a laser or
Miss-
something like, you could probably feel the action on the ship, the vibration from it activating.
Railguns, lasers, missile launchers.
It was a laser.
Cool.
It made pew pew noises.
Except we couldn't hear it.
There was enough subtle vibration in the ship that those of you who have actual military experience went, "Hey, I know what that is." Right. Well, let's see what kind of madness Eris can get up to now.
After seeing the captain's head desk, Eris is just gonna stop working on the computer. He's done. He's just gonna sit and keep, wait for people to give him something to do, because, well, he's just breaking everything at this point, and that's not fun.
Tell the invisible blonde lady to shut up.
That too, she's really talk about doing the right thing and working for God, etc., etc.
Great. He's turning all creepy on us. Quick, someone blow him out an airlock.
Hank is going to go forward and check out the escape pods on this side and then switch over to the other.
Gotcha.
Shout out to Lord Jin 99. That's joined us on the stream.
Hello.
Howdy.
All right. So these escape pods, they are standard for this class of ship. You can fit 4 people in them. They're let's see, and they can and often do double as low berths because they will automatically go into the freezer / low berth stuff when launched.
Okay.
And these pods seem perfectly intact to you.
Unoccupied.
On this side, there are no occupants. No.
I guess actually, instead of circling the long way around, we'll cut through.
Right. On this side, one of the pods, the top one, the forward one, actually has 2 people in it. One of the, both of them are wearing, look to be having petty officer rank. And it does appear to you that the low berth functionality has activated on those pods.
Can I determine their status from here, or do we need to actually pull them out or something?
Yeah, I think you'd probably have to jack in, figure, run whatever the appropriate stuff is.
What about the other pod? Is that one empty?
The other pod is empty.
I'm gonna comm Abe and tell him we got a couple of crucicles down here.
So noted. Is Jim doing anything?
I think he'll go down to the cargo bay.
Is Jim his creepy blonde lady? Is that what she really looks like?
Does that have a big number 6 painted on it?
It totally does.
Right behind the, right below the right engine, yes, or right, pressure.
Right, so he's going down to that.
Alright, so Eddie's going to run a bypass on this door. Since it's the same as the one he just did, +1 assist, sort of.
I need, before you do that, I'm going to need from both Buck and Eddie a will check into the box, please.
You come to and discover you're strangling each other.
And tearing our eyes out.
Kill your friends.
That's what everyone's doing. All your friends are doing it. Murderer.
And all that. Buck, you start. Yes, I haven't skipped everybody. You start doing your thing while Eddie's going to have to be slightly farther back, because those are panels. That's where the like displays and stuff like that, where you would do that. Where Eddie is back there working on that, and Buck, you hear. Well, it sounds like a body hitting the floor. And when you glance back, Eddie is laid out.
Okay, I'm gonna go check on him.
What are you doing, Eddie?
He
Why are you laying down?
He appears to be, well, it seems only semi-conscious. His eyes are like flickering and stuff like that, and he is bleeding from the nose. And maybe eyes, and maybe ears. Yeah, you're gonna have to toss him out the airlock.
It's the only way to be sure.
This one's broken.
You need a new Eddie.
There is no new Eddie.
That Eddie was already
only
kind of
Zool.
weird anyway.
That's right. There's only Zool.
Okay. Ella is going to be listening over the comms as the body count starts rolling in, and she's going to kind of tilt her head over to the side and look at Eris and say, "Go give Abe a hand. I think he's going to need it. Sounds like they've got a lot of dead down there."
Yeah, right.
Dead people. How can I mess that up?
Yep, they're already
He can screw them up and make them alive.
Yeah, it's not like I can bring them back to life, right?
Space zombies.
Oh, I was thinking of
space.
combat turns. I would have, since these are not combat turns,
Right.
in addition to checking on Eddie, I would have said, "Abe, send somebody to bring Eddie to you. I've got to take care of this radiation thing, but he just fell out. He's having some kind of episode. He's bleeding."
Right, and simultaneously, because I'm presuming, this stuff is not quite happening all at once, but it is sort of overlapping and stuff like that. So the comm traffic is all sorts of screwed up right now here. Simultaneously, Abe is reporting. He is looking in the science lab. He has another body, and there is also a not a cryo thing, but a freezer thing, and it looks like we've got a person in it. This is the freezer thing, and there's when he's like, "I've got another body," it's one of those where it's like, "Oh man, I don't want to know." And it's an ugly one. Right, and so Buck is doing that, and then you're like, Eddie's down. Eddie's down. So he's like, right.
Okay, now that I've made sure he was okay and called for help for him, I'm gonna open the door. I mean, not okay, but not dying. I'm gonna open this door. Finish opening this door, I should say. I've been at it for a while.
Well, you don't know. Maybe he is dying. Actually, we did determine that all the suits come with biomonitors, so it should be reporting whether or not he's having problems.
The readings from the biomonitors are inconsistent. As in your first thought is like, why is he pass out? All of his bios seem to be okay, normal.
His line is properly squiggly.
So noted. And you lumber back to the door and start messing with it. Gotcha. So it sounds like before I'm jumping ahead here, but it sounds to me like Ella is basically instructing Abe and Eris to head down. Is that correct?
No, it was just Eris. Basically, she was saying that she was hearing all the reports of the bodies coming in, and she sent Eris to go help Abe because she figured there would be some kind of investigation needed, and Abe knows best how to handle the bodies.
You know what that means, right? It means Ella's on the bridge by herself.
Woohoo! Time to kick the heels up. Take a nap.
Well, I did sort of put the image there in the captain's chair, so it's totally a freaking Toss captain's chair where she's like leaning in it, going, "Man, I need a coffee holder here." Right. So we've got word that we have an Eddie down. Abe is definitely running back that way. Sounds like, if I recall, Sai was heading down.
Affirmative.
Right. So on the TAC map other, Drake map other, as indicated, the front half from here forward is probably where they would have like a shuttle bay or something like that. And everything behind it, you can see basically lots of fuel tanks. And you can also see move. Oh wait, how does the TACnet actually work in this case? Does it like with the drone when it comes down? Does it like surround it with a little circle or something like friendly? Don't shoot it.
Basically, my impression of TACnet is like the first-person shooter mini-map. So you can see where everybody is that's got their IFF switched on and what their arc of vision is and that sort of thing.
Right. Okay. So he's at least Sai's going to be at least aware that Jim the drone is down here as well.
Yeah.
Is
But-
Jim do we know when Jim is being piloted or under autonomous control?
I
Like,
don't
does he
know,
go
do we?
eyes red when he's like autonomous and eyes blue when he's under Eris?
No, I
And
don't
there's
think
probably
any
no reason he
indicator.
couldn't send that information via the IFF or something.
Man,
Well, I am thinking that Sai may have heard Ella instruct him to head down to assist Abe, so he's going to probably. I'm guessing he would presume it's autonomous.
yeah. I'm kind of leery of that thing. The thing kicked my butt 7 ways to Sunday. But yeah, I'll note it.
Another gem-related question. Does it respond to anybody else's command/suggestions?
It is
Since
a
it is
AI.
AI.
It's a weak AI, though.
I think
Guess it
some,
depends on how
like,
it's
some
programmed.
basic, I suppose. Like perhaps go here, you know, sort of.
Well, I'm thinking if we're identified as friendlies, it may respond to us. So you could say, hey, follow me over here. Go shoot that.
Well, something also to remember is it is hidebound, so it cannot be creative. So if you say, "Yeah, protect me," that's a terrible, terrible command. You have to be pretty explicit with, your commands. So I would, slave mentality. So I'm presuming, I'm just guessing here that Eris has to instruct it to obey a PC.
Yeah. Basically, like giving them access rights and permissions, etc.
So yeah, we can totally understand why Sai is leery of that thing. It's gonna shoot him one day.
And he's never sat there and dealt with it before. This is the first time he's ever met a drone that isn't.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot about that. Well, you
Well,
have
everybody else
known
seemed
him
fine with it.
for let's see. Well, you've
A week.
known Eris for, let's see, no, it's been more than that because I did 2 jumps, so that'd be 14 days, plus
time together.
30 days, so about that. But yeah, so you've known the drone not that long, maybe 3 weeks
Actually,
tops.
Oh, he's
Well, when we
aware
were
of
at
it, but
when we were at the facility, we were all separated for 3
The
months.
first
or
30
whatever it
days,
was.
no, the first half of it
Oh,
you were,
no, that's right.
the second half you weren't.
yeah, and for that first half, I was probably in, medical until someone till stuff, and then eventually given over to medical.
Right. So Eris is heading down to assist Abe. Abe is running from the medical area. It looks like he's grabbed like one of the super high tech stretcher things that you can fold out and float and stuff like that. Because obviously he doesn't know what's up with Eddie, and you guys will go down the stairs.
Okay. I follow. Yeah, I go and follow along.
He totally needs to klutz down the stairs.
Please no.
Just curious. Can you clutch without gravity?
Gravity's back on.
Oh man, I bet
I
you
know
can.
that. I was just curious, but if nothing
Send
can
yourself
fall to the
spinning off into the
ground, can
ceiling.
you really knock things over?
Well,
Well,
but
you
you
can
can knock
lose
things
control
into
of your-
motion.
Yeah, and
turn
lose
too
control of
quick
your
and
own
then-
motion.
or you knock something and you send it flying.
Or
Nothing
end
sucks.
up with yourself suspended between handholds and not able to grab either one.
Yeah,
Well, that's
there's
no
that
matter.
too.
Help!
Right. Let's see. I got the crucicles, and they're not going anywhere. And everybody's going there. I think actually Hank is going to go to the conference room up there. And
Galley.
or whatever, and take a seat and start sort of trying to direct traffic, figure out what everybody's looking at, and let's see if we can't get Jim doing a scan through all the fuel tanks in between them, see if he picks up any heat sigs or anything.
All right. So we are going to. Eddie is sort of incapacitated at the moment.
Is Eddie experiencing anything, or is he like knocked out?
He is sort of knocked out. He's experiencing something trippy.
Right on.
Hallucinations, maybe.
He's got that moment before he turns into the space baby. It's full of stars.
Adopting the fetal position.
Plus, as we someone stated earlier, he's got to blank out and then wake up and find himself trying to choke Buck, which isn't going to really work considering Buck's wearing space armor, but it'll be funny to see.
And then Buck kills him.
Okay, so while this is going on, Ella's going to go ahead and take a look at the computer to see if there's anything left, or if it's just if everything's just completely wiped.
Define anything. I mean, what specifically are you trying to? Are you looking for data? Are you looking for functionality?
Yeah. And
Actually,
she
she
wants
was,
to check on the. She wants to check on the status of like the data, see if there's anything like logs, maps, anything that remains, or if it's literally set to the ship just rolled out of the space dock.
Now, she was a former Navy bridge officer, so she might actually know her way around the system a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I am glancing at her skills to see what might be appropriate there. Huh. Okay. So, well, let's give me a skill check that you think would be appropriate in this case. Factored in with the whole, yeah, she is former Navy, so she may
Soldier?
have some insight that Eris, the civilian, wouldn't.
Soldier?
Let's see, maybe a soldier role or a spacer role.
Yeah, I could do that.
Which one do you want? Soldier is probably more appropriate.
Sure, let's go with soldier then.
Yeah, he knows her way around.
Wow.
You need to screenshot that, by the way.
I'm telling you, I gave my dice to Eris today.
So as soon as Eris is off the bridge, you're sitting there in the captain's chair, and you're looking around, and you sort of glance down at the armrests on the captain's chair, and you think, and you tap it, and you flip this thing over, and it's like the armrest sort of flips over, and it has has like cheat codes and stuff like that written down. And you're like, ha ha.
Post-it note on the monitor.
Yeah, but it was hidden. So yeah. She's like, I had a CO that used to do this. Could never remember
That's
his
awesome.
damn password.
You found the hidden compartment to the captain's Candy Crush.
But yeah, she's like, oh, there you go. Yep. Now you're pretty certain you've got. It won't be the system admin password, but you probably got the commanding officer's codes.
Okay, so she'll get busy working on the computer then to see what she can pull out of it. Like, she's particularly interested in, first off, what's our current destination, and then second, if there are any logs or medical records or anything that indicate what happened to the former crew.
Okay, so in this case, go ahead and give me a computer operations check. I think we'll probably go with consider this a routine task for her, since that's +4. She's like, this wasn't that hard. I don't know what Eris was whining about. The nav logs are strangely blank and almost like they have been intentionally scrubbed by someone. Hopefully that wasn't Eris that scrubbed them, because then you might have to spacing.
She frowns.
Him and his weird drone.
Yep, him and the weird drone. And the logs have a really empty span. The most recent one, let me start over and in English. The phrasing in the logs, you just sort of scan over them really quickly, and just the way the CO phrased a lot of stuff, you can kind of tell he was doing the bare minimum and the CYA. So he didn't want to, he was using he was clearly on a classified op of some sort. And just to make sure he didn't get totally screwed, he would do the, yes, we're proceeding to our assigned patrol zone with the with the cargo, conducting assigned operations.
Donkey balls.
But the last one does indicate it has something you're like, oh, I wonder what that means. Probably when he specifically says we are spooling up subject 1036 to see what the result will be.
Subject 1036.
That never ends badly.
So she'll get on the comms and say, all right, I've managed to get something from the CO. And it meant the last log entry mentioned something about a subject. What was it? 636, 1036?
1036, 1036, yeah.
1036. Thank you. My brain is not here.
No worries.
So she'll basically say there was something about subject 1036. I don't have any more information about it, but he said they were going to spin it up and see what happens. And based on that being the last log, my guess is the result wasn't good. So just watch your backs as you're searching. If you see anything weird, be sure and report it.
I've been reporting that all along, ma'am.
Yeah, so just as she is finishing this up, Buck, you finish unlocking or opening up the hatch, basically, and the aft engineering map there is a little deceptive. There is a large enclosed square-like device in the center of this section with cables connecting to it and stuff like that frankly look like it is got integrated life support. And there is this cage the cage does appear to be connected directly to the jump drive core. And in this cage, facing you is a really large viewport. And in this viewport, you are startled when you realize there's a person in there. This person looks like they have been, their arms and legs have both been surgically amputated, and it's just got stuff plugged into him and all this stuff. And I need you to make a will check.
That seems fair.
This is not a fright check necessarily, but you're like, ah!
Nope.
All right.
Close the door. Found your weird.
Found something weird.
That weird enough for you, Captain?
I think that qualifies.
Hold on, I gotta find something really quick. Yeah, hold on, I gotta find something really quick. I thought I had it, but then I went and didn't have it. I'm gonna blame someone else.
I hate when I think I have it and I don't have it.
Right, so a wave of pain just sort of washes over you, and at the moment you are basically you have the moderate pain affliction, which is -2 on Dex, IQ, self-control rolls, stuff like that, and it all feels like it's pulsing off of this guy.
Look at my feed. There is some poor fucker wired into the jump drive back here.
Ella flips on the feed. Oh my god!
Damn it, man! Warn me next time.
Yeah, I should have said there's some poor fucker plugged into the jump drive back here. watch my feet.
Yeah. So,
Did put those out of order. My bad.
so yeah, as stated, this is just like intensely painful just to be in that area, and it's you can but at the same time you can almost feel like something tickling your brain.
He seems to be some kind of psionic. It hurts. So tell me about these cables that are plugged into this cage, this box.
They mostly, let's see, what kind of check would that? Yeah, Abe's like, fuck. Hey, no
Engineering?
crap. Abe is gonna have to
Mechanic.
check on Eddie first. Let's see. So, yeah.
Engineering and mechanic to figure out what they're plugged into?
Well, some of them you can.
I kind of want to know what kind of cables. Like that one's for electricity. That one's life support. That one's what are they? What is it, like dozens of them and there's no way I can sort them out, or can I quickly identify what's carrying what?
Based on the level of skill that you have with regards to engineering, yeah, you can pretty much go. That looks like it's plugged into the really large, the largest one seems to be like plugged into the jump drive core. That one looks like it's life support. I'm not sure what that one is. In fact, it doesn't look like it's plugged into anything yet. Like maybe they were about to plug it into something, and well, then things happen.
All right, I'm going to try to identify the source of the radiation.
When you glance at that, you realize that there's, the reports that you were seeing, which were like, warning radiation, they're completely silent.
Oh,
Like they weren't there now, and you're like, wait, what?
like it was fake. Keep people from coming back here.
That's probably a good presumption. And Eddie is going to be start recovering at this point.
Is he able to tell them what happened to him? Because I bet this psionic guy attacked him.
Well, he didn't really attack him so much. It's just may have said, "Can you take a nap? Can
Get
you trip
out of my mind.
And it does take a few moments for, well, this guy who you're presuming is subject 1036 to sort of, what's the word, for his eyes to really focus on your presence. Like, he was sort of aware of you, but not aware of you simultaneously. And when he does look at you, Buck, there is another pulse of, well, frankly, it's at this point he's like, oh crap, here comes the telepathy, and it hurts. Let's see, it's sort of like how do I phrase that? It's like a telepathic burst message sort of thing, where he's not downloading information but trying to relate information.
Okay. I'm going to try to relax and understand.
So you get the feeling that this dude is Zodani. But needless to say, he's probably a prisoner of war of some sort.
Now, am I getting this from the images that he's showing me, or what?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
like,
I'm getting a montage of some kind.
That's a very good way to phrase it. Gonna have a montage. Yeah, it's he's a fairly powerful psyker of some sort who was captured and experimented on and all he wants right now is to die.
Cue the exhibition.
I don't know anything about psionics, and I don't know how thick this thing is. So I'm going to, touch my helmet to the glass, and I'm gonna say, I can definitely unplug you, but is that going to kill everybody on the ship if I do, or can you drop us off somewhere? By the way, this really hurts.
Something meta thing there. The pain that it's actually like he's constantly in that, and it's just he's not able to control it. So yeah,
Gotcha.
it hurts worse for
I'm
him.
experiencing his pain.
Right.
Oh, that sucks. So yeah, I'm gonna offer to off him, but I'm gonna say, could we work something out where the rest of us don't die? Because we got a lot of good people on this ship. And the people who did this to you are all dead.
Well, some good people.
Compared to the people who did this, look at the picture again. We're not that bad.
That's probably true.
We haven't been given a reason to be that bad.
Abe takes a step back away from you guys.
Wow.
Huh.
Um,
Do that.
let's see. So he clearly has no idea.
Oh, he doesn't know what's going to happen when he's unplugged.
Correct.
Well,
Okay, so the question then is, what normally happens if you shut off the jump drive in the middle of a jump?
you destroys the ship. The bubble of reality that you're inside collapses, and you're in jump space. But you're not like alive and in jump space and going, oh no, we're stranded. You're just instantly disintegrated when reality collapses.
Okay, what if you cut off the jump computer?
I think the destination at this point, you'd get to the destination and pop out. As long as the bubble is maintained, you're going to get where you're going in whatever amount of time that's going to take. The purpose of the jump drive during jump is to maintain the bubble.
Is there a way that we can come up with an alternative way to power the jump engine so that we can keep the jump going, but be able to cut him free from it?
I don't know. I should start trying to trace these cables and check that out, I guess. I'm in extreme pain down here, though. I could use like a happy pill or something, Doc.
Abe is too busy going, what the hell is that?
Now,
What the hell?
If you have trauma maintenance, you have 10 loads of various things, so you probably have an
that's
auto
right.
load
The armor,
of
the
pain.
armor can do something.
Yep, you could probably
Yeah,
get yourself with a.
I will. Thanks for reminding me about that. I will command my armor to give me a pain med and start to try to trace cables and figure out what he's connected to and why.
Yeah, if he's not connected to the power of the jump drive and he's just directing it, then I'm thinking if you cut him off, it'd be the same as cutting off the computer.
Yeah, his work is done now that we're in jump space. If that's the case, I'm going to trace cables and find out if that's what's going on.
And
Okay.
Ella's going to go back into the computer and see if she can find any more, just start digging to see if there's anything in the computer about what this is.
Presume the cage says 1036 on it somewhere.
It totally is going to have 1036 on it.
I'll give the guy, put my helmet back to the glass and give the guy one more reassurance that this is his last journey. I promise.
Okay, so Give me a. I guess that would that be engineer or mechanic? I think that's going to be engineer starships because in this case you're
Some
looking at the. Yeah, you're trying to determine exactly what they do, not how to fix them. And
not bad.
yeah, let's see. That's also going to be at -2 because of the
Pain.
pain. But that's still by 5. And what is everybody else doing? I know Ella is digging into the computers.
I think Hank's going to relocate to the bridge and go over the info with Ella.
Eris is going to be helping with whatever Abe gives him to do.
Well,
Actually,
Eddie
Eris might be of
is
some assistance in the back there.
Eddie is going to have woken up.
Eris is gonna brain hack. Just remember, don't reset his default settings. Factory reset.
So does Eddie remember anything, or is just like tripping?
Yeah, he was smack dab in the middle of whatever it was he was doing. He just got. I don't know. Has Eddie ever experimented with hallucinogens? Because
Oh,
it's totally like that. Where
he probably has at some point. He hangs
It's
out
like-
with some shitty people.
that's true. So it was just like smack dab in the middle of what he was doing. It's just like bam, he's suddenly stoned out of his mind. And he's like, wait, what just happened? And then it went away.
Sort of cradling his head in his hands, he's going, "Whoa, that felt like a really bad trip. What happened?" And then he'll see the drops of blood on the front of his visor and he'll go, "What the hell? Am I bleeding?"
And then, he's like getting more coherent as he hears Buck, talking about, all right, found this guy, da-da-da-da. Like,
Yeah,
man,
he'd hear me
probably want
talking to him too, saying we're
probably want to go back to tripping.
This is your last journey, I promise. Who the hell are you talking to?
Eddie will be getting up and he'll sort of wander over and see what everyone's looking at. And then he'll have a what the hell moment.
And he will also be, and anybody with who even gets to at this point past the place where Buck or Eddie is at currently will be suffering the moderate pain, which is -2 on IQ, Dex, self-control, stuff like that. Sai is AFK. So Buck, give me the engineer check. That is totally what it's like. From Ella. Yeah, he's all sorts of trippy.
It's much more realistic.
Right, so
I've
Buck.
heard-
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What the hell? So, Buck, give me an engineer starships check.
All right. Same thing.
All right. So, based on what you're looking at, it does in fact seem that this guy was being used to alternately he was being used more as the computer, the jump computer, as well as he is sort of functioning as the jump drive, but only to go into the initial go into jump space.
So he was like the navigator almost.
Sort of, basically, yeah.
Huh.
So And I noticed you had mentioned about the pain meds.
Yeah.
One of the
said that out loud.
yeah one of the cables that does appear to be messed up does look like it was probably pain meds. So you think what may have happened, just as at a glance, and because he's like insanely good with engineering, is they plugged him in wrong. So he was probably tripping balls all the time, and so he wasn't necessarily aware of the fact that he was in debilitating, agonizing pain until, they screwed up, and then he became coherent and didn't like
drove
it.
the whole crew mad. Okay, well, I'm gonna fix his drug supply then. That seems like the easiest solution for the moment, is to fix his drugs.
He's a Star Trek Discovery spore drive.
I haven't watched Discovery, so I don't
have electronics repair medical. I don't know if that counts or if this would just be a straight up engineering thing.
What would that be? It's not electronics.
I
it's an
think it
actual
would be
physical
repair.
thing.
I think it would be repair medical in this case. What is your skill level in that?
It's 13, but I can definitely take extra time and will. Because I don't want to make the same kind of mistake that whatever jackhole plugged this into the wrong thing made.
Right. So that's also probably an easy way to do the mercy kill if you are still in that mindset. Do the equivalent.
I promised this guy I was going to kill him.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Abe would have something to say
Trying
about
to make
that.
him more comfortable while we're still alive.
Yeah, Abe is immediately looking at this thing, trying to figure out if there's any way to take him out. Actually, Buck, give me a perception check, please. As soon as Abe came in here, this dude is basically focused on him, which metagame, out of character, is clearly because, he can sort of senses like sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Abe's secret may have tripped this adventure.
Can I get, since Abe is coming in here, can I get him to assist me with this medical thing and give me a bonus? Or was my roll good enough? Well, we haven't decided what I'm going to roll, have we?
Right, yeah. So, yeah, he can definitely try to assist. You're slightly better than I am.
You do it instead? Oh, okay.
You're slightly better. You're like 1 point better than I am.
Gotcha.
All right. So that will that will be an assist. Just barely an assist.
All right, I'm ready to roll then.
Let's roll.
Whew.
By 6. Okay. Yes. Okay. So you are able to resume the the anesthesia. So the pain will definitely taper off somewhat.
Oh yeah, I forgot my -2 for pain.
Well, that's still by 4 then.
Yeah, still. Oh, and I had drugs too. So maybe I wasn't at a -2 total.
I think in this case, I'm not sure if the drugs would have actually worked because this is more psychic pain than actual physical pain.
Oh, okay. So no effect.
I'm not sure, but it does. In this case, it didn't matter, so good to go.
Got it. High five, Abe.
Yeah, Abe is definitely trying to figure out how to get this dude out. And that doesn't. There are like cybernetic implants into it, all parts of his body, and it just looks terrible.
Yeah, don't waste too much time on that treatment plan, Doc. I made a promise.
Gotta get him out.
Yeah, he's coming out. No worries. Back up to medical with you.
This is currently an engineering problem.
Yep. Thanks for your help. And Buck will actually come with Abe back up to medical and try to lend a hand up there now that things are under control. And I'm assuming everybody was following that, and that if they have any questions, they'll ask.
Wait, we can't just leave him in there.
Well, Doc, he's flying the ship, dude. We'll get him out after we come out of jump.
So we're going to leave him in there for a week?
You got another idea?
How about we get a backup system in place and do a changeover?
So I'm telling you that we're going to get an oil change at the next exit, and you're telling me you want to do an oil change now while we're still rolling.
Got to be better than leaving the guy trussed up like that.
Oh, he's full of good drugs now. He's feeling nothing.
Yeah, but
he's gonna make it to.
That shit ain't natural.
He's gonna make it until he doesn't.
Wait. So you're thinking that he's not actually the jump drive.
Right, I know. That's my response, though. I'm saying let's just leave it alone until we're out of harm's way, basically. Because while we're in jump, it seems to me that plugging and unplugging things from the jump drive, maybe it won't blow us up. But let's wait until we're out of jump space and then unplug it. That's all I'm saying.
So you're saying to wait till the ship out of danger?
No, until we're out of jump space. The specific danger I was referring to is the jump bubble collapsing if anything disrupts the jump drive.
Surely you could run a bypass. This guy's messed up. He needs help.
He's gonna get it. Captain, make them keep their hands off of my engines.
My engine room now. It's got my name on it. Slap.
Sorry, I'm pondering.
Eddie is stubborn, so he's going to try and influence Buck to come up with another solution.
It's probably Ella you should be trying to influence. Because Buck does not have the stubborn disadvantage, but his player does.
Yes, but it's Buck that needs to find the solution. So he's going to try and say, you got to try and... Oh, let me roll first.
Okay.
Buck, you got to try and find another way around this. There's got to be another way. If he's plugged into the jump drive, then, run a bypass or something. If it's, Navi computer or whatever, then plug in Jim or something. I know, there's got to be another way. You got to find another way.
All right. I'll see what I can do. I'll try to figure out if I can run a bypass without risking dropping us out of the bubble.
I'll stick around and help you if I can.
All right, fine. You're such a pain in the ass.
I did bloody tell you.
Eddie will say, yeah, but that pales into comparison to the pain this guy's in this guy's ass.
Yeah.
Look at him, dude.
No, I've seen enough. Let's see what we can do.
Turning to the captain. This is a Imperial ship, right?
Yes.
Turn to the captain and say, there must be laws against this sort of stuff. Why would the Imperium do something as inhumane as this?
Ella will save her comms because she's still on the bridge. I don't know. We're still looking at the logs to figure out if we can find out where this project came from, if it was something from the government or from elsewhere.
See if there's anything there about Zodani or anything about the war, because this guy is Zo.
Will do.
So, what is Cy and Hank and Eris doing in this interim?
Hank was working with Ella.
Right, forgot that.
Sai's going to continue to scout the ship. There's not much he's going to be able to do with Mr. Crazy Eyes.
There will be no further corpses located?
You could help analyze the logs. You have intelligence analysis, don't you?
That's true. You might pick up on some Black Ops stuff there.
Yeah.
True.
What about Eris?
Eris is going to be still continuing to help Abe and whatever he has if... Yeah.
Shout out to Zorgon60, who's joined us in the stream.
He sucks.
Hey. Is that who I thought it is?
It better be, or I
Yep,
just
that's
insulted him.
Q.
What, Zorgon?
Yep.
6'9"er?
No, it's Mike. Hey, Mike.
Oh, that weirdo?
Welcome, Mike.
Stalker.
Wow.
Okay, so let's see. You guys are trying to come through the comm logs. As indicated, they are pretty not secure, but the whoever it was, the commander, was definitely trying to cover his butt. So he takes great effort to not actually say anything during his logs.
We don't actually know anything about Sai's Black Ops ties, do we?
No. You know that he probably worked prior intel, or he did stuff against Barger Corsairs.
Yeah,
And
because
he
when
knows things
Ella's
about
enemies,
bombs.
when Ella's enemies showed up, Sai was familiar with them. So
He was also doing sneaky stuff in the last campaign, or last season.
she probably picked up on that, but the rest of us probably didn't.
And he would have revealed that he was probably on Corfu with you, at the same time. Hence why he was on that Farger Corsair from that whole battle. Because
Well, I don't know if Hank would necessarily make that connection. So I just asked openly. I wonder if they would keep a separate log for this.
No, something to
They
keep in
actually-
mind.
Okay, go ahead.
Something to keep in mind is when Ella was initially going through there, she did find the strong indications that someone, probably the CO, made a conscious attempt to scrub a great deal of this data.
True. What I was going to say was they described this as an experiment, which means there are scientists involved, which means there's definitely science documentation. Now, whether or not that got scrubbed is another matter. That might be recoverable, though.
Yeah, let's focus on getting as much as we can that they tried to scrub that didn't quite make it out of the recycle bin.
And that's where the amazing hacksaw really comes in.
But he's busy.
And also doing terrible.
We've got another 6 days in jump space.
Nice.
Okay, so simply based on, Sai takes a look at the data that has been obtained, and hold on, I have to close something and such like that. So he looks at the data that has been obtained, and then just sort of skims through it, and based on his knowledge and stuff like that, this is definitely, obviously, which everybody else will definitely be able to go, yeah, probably. This is clearly a Black Ops project of some sort, but simply based on the way they're doing a bunch of phrasing and stuff like that, and the careful CYA and all that stuff, he strongly suspects that this likely is not sanctioned by the Imperium itself, so it's more than likely a local thing.
Right.
Hey, now Mike can't give away everything because I used him as a sounding board.
So he knows what's really happening.
So you need to keep your mouth shut, Mike.
Here, let me log into Twitch real quick.
Because if you remember, Mike, I have a key to your house.
Spoilers.
So that amounts to a "I know where you live" threat.
It might be.
Right, so local, that's sensible, but, okay. How long ago was this ship? This was over 10 years roughly. We could think back to who was in charge in the area. Actually, there should be some indication of who these guys answered to.
Fifth Frontier War, 1107 to 1110, and we are 1122, I believe.
So at over 10 years ago. And yeah, there should be some indication of who they were answering to. So,
well, that's pretty much why Sai is like thinking what he's thinking, because they'll reference command, and that's they'll intentionally
okay, so
not
specifically hiding it.
Right.
So it could have been the Duke of the sector, or it could have just been the Admiral of this fleet, or it could have been anybody.
Exactly. It could be the Duke, the Admiral, it could be a local count, that sort of thing.
Let's see, and we're in the Trojan Reaches right now, so we have no idea about the comings and goings down here.
Hail Hydra. That is correct. Right,
Okay.
so also Buck was looking at trying to do a bypass to get Eddie off his back. What kind of check would that end up being?
Yeah.
Mechanic jump drive?
Mechanic starship,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, in this case, I think Daniel's right. It would probably be mechanic jump drive.
All right.
And this is a diagnosis, not necessarily a fix-it roll.
Aww.
And this is without the -2 for pain because the
Correct.
pain subsided with the drugs. Okay, good.
Correct.
By 6, not bad.
Not that you would have needed or been worried about the -2.
You say that, but I have failed a roll on a skill of 18 by rolling 18
I know.
Yeah.
this month.
Last week.
Last week.
Yeah.
So yes, he is fairly confident that he can do that because like I said, this dude was mostly being used as the jump computer and then like the initial transit into. So he's like plugged into the jump drive, but he is not acting as the jump drive. Wait, that's not clear either.
He guided
Let's
the jump
see.
drive, but he's not what's keeping it going.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Buck will sit down on his toolbox and say, "Well, Eddie, you were right, and I was wrong. We can unplug him without ruining the jump."
Eddie will be relieved.
Do you want to tell the captain, or should I?
You can.
All right. Buck will report to Ella, who is briefly AFK, that we can do this if we want. Without killing everybody.
And she'll probably say, yeah, do that. Because she's adventurous like that.
Except we only heard over comms the kill everybody bit.
Let's see. So, even though Abe is presently in the, he's probably mostly been getting in the way of Buck and Hank. No, not Hank. Buck and Eddie. He's been doing medical scans and stuff like that. And he will announce that, based on his scans, the life support systems are the only thing keeping this guy alive. There's no way he can survive out of them.
Yeah, I think we had assumed that. Or I had.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I had assumed that as well.
Well, yeah. And Abe is just confirming it.
Well, Is there anything else to do? As we do not want, I'm presuming we don't want to exit the jump early, so we're going to have to ride out the next 6 days. Did we actually find out where the hell we were going?
No, the computer were blanked, and it's likely that this guy is the reason for the jump.
He is the computer.
Right, I wonder if we can actually get that from him while he's still among us.
Is
So
he conscious, or do the drugs knock him out?
they basically put him in that thoroughly stoned things where he's nominally conscious.
Oh, maybe Abe could question him.
He sees the dancing zebras.
Even if you get all bendy. Right. So I am presuming that you are going to go ahead and run the bypass.
Abe's a people person.
In that case, I'm not. Simply based on the results there, it's not going to be difficult. So you're not going to need to crit hunt and make another roll.
Well, that was going to be based on the captain's say-so.
Oh, right.
And she is back now.
So re-report.
We can unplug the guy without danger of dropping us out of jump. So should we go ahead and disconnect him? And because I lost the bet, I have to say this. I was wrong, and Eddie was right.
Yeah, do it. Unplug him.
Yes, ma'am. I'll go ahead and start the operation.
Yeah, it's not going to take you very long. Miss exit. Interesting. Yeah, so you unsecure it. There's that moment where you're like, oh god, I hope this doesn't kill us all and I didn't screw up, but everything seems to be fine. As indicated before, the everything still feels a little odd, like you're still that quarter second or so slower than you should, but then it seems logical to presume that's due to the fact that this wasn't necessarily a normal jump. Let's see. So, let's see. Some time has definitely passed. As stated earlier, the life support and stuff like that was reactivated. So everybody has oxygen. In the presumptions that you dare take off the helmets.
Oh, it's going to happen at some point.
But yes, doesn't intel analysis actually take a little bit of time? It's not presumed straight away.
I believe so, and it may not be a conclusion that he comes to like right away, but after reviewing, and like I said, he'll take his time and kind of review everything, which probably includes like going through people's personal logs or whatever he can drag out.
Right. So there's that, and I am also presuming that since Buck wasn't enthusiastic about this rewiring en route, he probably also takes a really long time to double check, triple check, quadruple check everything.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Guys, I did the same thing on the medical part, so
right.
I will continue to be
so
careful.
I'm gonna say it's about 7 hours or so since you guys, have boarded, found all this stuff. About 7 hours since it jumped, and abruptly the ship starts to shimmy, and it's like everybody's like, "Wait, what?"
Everybody looks at Buck.
Well, everybody's probably variously scattered around. Some on the bridge, you doing stuff,
That doesn't
and
mean we can't look at Buck.
everybody's like thinking, "Oh crap, Buck screwed something up." And then the ship literally shakes really, really hard, and everybody realizes you've sort of dropped out of jump space, which is like, wait, what?
Early.
And let's see, where is 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna presume, let's see, Buck is probably still in engineering, so he's not gonna have access. Who all is gonna necessarily screw it? Never mind. Those of you who are able to, basically, because if you looked at the ship picture, it has, well, viewports and such like that. As the ship shakes and transitions back into out of jump space, once again, alarms start screaming, which doesn't surprise very much of any of you. And there's a very, very large bang that echoes from the aft end. And everybody who is like sort of facing a window or a viewport or something like that can see in the relatively near distance, something that nobody wants to see.
Oh man.
No, we don't want to see that.
So this guy, who is a human computer, laid coordinates or laid a jump path with a black hole in the path. Maybe he was trying to kill himself.
He didn't have the. Well, everyone else suicided. Maybe he thought we were just going to do it eventually.
No, I think they did it because he wanted to so bad.
I think he was projecting.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
projecting, and they were picking up what he was putting down, and so he made this path to die. Oh, great!
And with the drop out of jump space, I'm going to take a bio break. So everybody's like, "Ah, crap! I should get that intermission."
Well,
Yeah, you
it's
need
on
to
the
get a mission
boards.
Right, be right back.
So we taking 5?
The stream is on Brian's anyway. He can pull it up.
Yeah, we
Roger,
take
5.
taking 5. Okay.
Take it 5.
For those in the stream, we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Awesome. All right, so the ship has stumbled out of jump space, and everyone is aghast when you see, well, a black hole. The Drake immediately is, it's shifting and groaning and creaking, and all of those sounds are really, really ominous. You have alarms shrieking.
How close are we inside the event horizon?
If that was the case, you'd all be squished.
Oh, true.
But only in certain dimensions.
I guess this is the wrong time to be thinking about how in tune the maneuver drives are. But that's what I'm thinking about.
They're not in tune at all.
Somebody should take care of that who's good with engines.
So are we falling into the black hole, or are we in an orbit?
It does appear that the ship does seem to be caught in some gravitational something or other. Insert techno speak here.
To be fair, we're all always falling into a black hole.
Sure.
To some degree or another.
Right. So,
So really, this is just old hat.
we're just
Yes,
a lot
we should
closer
go the
to
other
normal.
way.
Yeah, we should. Buck, get those engines working.
Sai is contemplating if those
Yeah.
fighters are usable and if they're faster than the ship.
Yeah.
Well, what we might
Oh,
do is
well,
tether them
you're
to the ship
laughing, but-
and launch.
You're laughing, but for their mass, they may have the most thrust.
That's true.
They might actually be able to escape if the ship can't. So keep that thought open.
Actually,
Maybe
if-
we'll
start
look them
prepping
over
just in case.
to see what kind of condition they're in.
Yep, Sai
Go
has.
ahead. I'll look at the engines. The rest of you prep those fighters.
Yep.
Someone with a navigation space roll should do a quick calculation to find out if we can actually escape. This ship will be capable of however many G, but if that amount of G is not enough to get us into an orbit, then we're screwed.
Good point.
I think I would go so far to say orbit is not good enough. We need to be able to achieve escape velocity. But
Well, yeah.
never minding that. We never did deal with the fact that we've got 2 crucicles on the life pod that may or may not be alive.
They're not going to
Plus
make it.
one. Plus one in
Three.
the top science lab, yeah.
3 crucicles that we have yet to determine their state.
If the ship makes it, they'll make it.
Okay, so who is good at navigation calculating stuff? Ella's.
Okay, so Ella was not the one doing the navigation? No, Sam was doing it.
Yeah,
both
Sam had
jobs
better than she
before.
did. She's got a 14, so.
Okay, well, she's good enough. That's space, nav space.
And if the computer, the ship has a nav computer that's functional, it'll actually give you a bonus.
Keyword
It's
functional.
+1 or +2, I think. Roll to see if it
Okay.
matters.
Yeah, Hank has not actually picked that one up yet. He's got hyperspace, but not space. He's still studying for that one.
I actually think she does have the best.
Yeah, I could swear she was the one doing the navigation when Sam wasn't.
No, he had like a 15 or a 16, so he always made the nav and piloting rolls.
All right, well, she's it now.
Great.
Yeah, he had a nav space 17.
You are the navigator.
Beep boop boop.
I got that
Right,
reference.
so what are we trying to determine with the nav space check?
All right. Based off of what the nav computer tells us versus what the ship is capable of, velocity-wise, are we too far gone to be able to actually feasibly escape?
Right. It
With
needs to.
the
She
with
needs
big
to
ship.
plot the ejection burn. See if we've got enough to actually pull it off.
All right. So, based on the Drake's power profile and stuff like that, you're like, okay, I'm pretty certain we're good at the moment. And then you have the various alarms, such like that. Unfortunately, Buck, just as you are reaching down there at the where I relocated the thing, it's like near the officers' quarters and such like that. You hear and actually quite obviously feel as well how the something is wrong in the aft end. You can feel like a subtle vibration, like something has broken loose and maybe gone boom. At which point you just see this horrifying bit where the entire back end is completely sheared off. And you're like, wait, what?
So
As
when you
the-
say
the-
I see this, do you mean I see it in my mind's
Hmm?
eye, or it is being sheared off in front of my face?
It is being sheared off in front of you.
Shorn?
Sure, why not?
I will say the ship's been cut in half. The half we're in is not the half with the engines. We have to get out of here.
Darn
Get
it,
to the
that was
fighter.
Well, it's not gonna be that easy. There's the tail end, based entirely on his knowledge. Probably one of those maneuver drives was broken free, and it just broke. And the ship itself is suffering some pretty significant gravitational stressors out there. The hatches are going to slam shut, but you do have the oxygen howling out out that hole before that takes place. You're like, ah, crap. In the process as this happens, power goes out throughout the ship.
Eddie's going to practice kissing his own ass goodbye.
And everybody also is going to feel a little bit heavier than you normally do. And I believe, based on what Mark and Daniel said, you guys were heading towards the fighters.
Right.
That will be the captain, whatever the captain says.
Yeah, if
No,
we've
they
got
weren't.
reaction, if we've got reaction control, we probably need to orient bottom toward black hole.
So, what skill would it be to basically know, like, stats and stuff like that about ships? That's not going to be like mechanic.
That's going to be
Pilot.
military science.
Or pilot or spacer.
Yeah, pilot,
handling?
spacer.
Ooh, ship handling.
Engineer, ship handling.
Well,
A lot
ship
of skills
handling's
would
not.
apply to what a ship is
Yeah, ship
capable of.
handling's not going to be it.
More than likely, it'll be pilot, based on the class of your pilot skill.
It'll be piloting or the
And it'll be IQ-based pilot.
expert
Ship
military
handling
science.
is a piloting skill.
Ship handling isn't actual pilot. That's all capital ships. That's telling other people how to fly the ship, not actually flying it.
Well, yeah, but that involves knowing what it's capable of and what it can do.
Yeah, a capital ship, not a fighter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think an IQ-based pilot check, because those are going to be high performance, and I'm pretty certain that's what everybody has.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's gonna be the same.
So give me some of those.
No, that's Dex based, but mine rolls the same. My Dex and Intel is.
Okay, so if you recall when Hank first went through there and identified the Sparrowhawks, I established that they have really good thrust, but they are not known to be particularly durable. So he is, well, actually, both of you guys are likely concerned about how well those fighters would hold up against the gravitational stressors of this, well, really dangerous spatial event. Hello?
All right. So we're not too sure that these ships could handle it, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, and those things are also, let's see, there's 6 of them. Technically, there are 7 of you, and simply based on these cockpits, you're not going to be able to fit Jim into one. Oh, right, plus Abe. Ah, because those are single seaters.
See, we could fit Jim to a hard point.
Yeah, that's true. You just bolt him to the wing.
But the other problem would be anyone else that didn't know how to fly. Although it'd be interesting to slew controls of one to like somebody else's, which would be something that Eris would probably likely be able to do. Control one, like hive mind them.
Yeah.
There are 6 of them. There are 7 biological PCs present.
Well, so Ella decides who she's most comfortable. Yeah. With?
Why does Ella have to share with somebody?
Rephrase that. Ella decides who shares with whom.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean.
Rephrase that. Ella decides who dies. You know what? I don't like you. You're staying here.
Unfortunately, Ella has this rather annoying little sense of duty to her crew, so she can't do that. So we've completely lost the engine for the ship that we're on now. Like,
Yep.
it's gone.
We're
Thought you were
basically
gonna-
drifting.
Thought you were gonna say, so she quits.
Yeah, we're ballistic
Hank, you're
now.
it.
We have no control over our acceleration.
Are the fighters fueled up?
I fucking hope so.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking, like, how much
Well-
thrust could the fighters generate?
I suppose
Wait.
it would probably be a good idea to determine what exact timetable we're looking at here right now anyway.
How long
Are we
before
talking
we
minutes or
Yeah.
hours or days?
Yeah, how long do we have before we are
Seconds.
past the point of no return?
A scene. However long that is.
Okay.
that
Close.
indeterminate time where it's like, oh no, this is a bad situation. We got to do something
Well,
really fast.
If we stay on the ship, we're ballistic. We're done. If we hop on the fighters, we risk getting crushed, or we risk them, not necessarily making it. But it's a better chance than being completely done. Now, the other question is there were life pods, were there not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be powered enough to get clear of a black hole.
Or are they?
Or are they? Or can we
They
jury-rig
do
them
not
to
have they do not have the thrust.
thrust,
So it's the fighters
profile?
or nothing.
What
So-
if it was like one big bang and then send them ballistic? Is there a way we could rig one to like a life pod or two to go ballistic and then get it out of the hole at least far enough, and then we can recover it?
Where is the hangar with the fighters in it relative to like where the ship got cut in half?
The ship was cut in half just aft of the fighters, because that's engineering.
Okay.
Got the big blue square. So yeah, it looks like the fighters have the acceleration, but potentially not the durability, whereas the pods probably have the durability, presumably, but not the acceleration.
So can we get the engines off the fighters and rig them up to the pods? Or
That
another thing
seems unlikely.
Or another thing I was thinking is that we use the fighters to basically
Pull one?
tugboat the big ship, or push it, or have them clamped down and have them be the engines.
I don't think they're going to have the thrust in order to actually move this thing. Fighters are pretty small comparatively.
They have a good thrust to weight ratio for themselves, but not much of anything else. Actually, the pulling or tugging might work, but we might have to like strap 2 to 1 life pod kind of thing.
If the ship still
if-
had its engines, that might be helpful, but yeah, at this point I don't see that working.
I like Mark's idea of using the fighter engines to propel the life pods faster.
Well, basically all you'd be doing is adding weight to the fighters.
Well, we're gonna have to try something.
He said 2 to 1 though, so we'd be carrying 3 life pods with 6 fighters.
Before we lose the ship, it might be a good idea to try and get a system scan to see if there's anywhere to go in this system.
I'm gonna make some coffee.
Your
Could be
power
awesome.
is out.
Yeah, we don't have any way of pulling
You've
the
lost
computer
your
on.
reactor.
We can kick a fighter out and use a fighter scan potentially, but I mean,
How are we going to get the doors open?
well, they probably have a emergency like method of explosive bolts kind of thing.
Yeah, like a manual thing.
And
You shoot it.
if not, I was just gonna say we just shoot it out with one fighter. Now the question is who can fly a fighter? I can.
Pretty much
Not it.
anybody with piloting high performance, I think.
Eddie can, but not well.
Nope. I have contragrav only, so I'd have to default.
Holy crap! Abe is a better pilot than Buck.
Yeah,
Well, he usually doesn't fly.
I fix them. I don't fly them.
And to be fair, he could maneuver a capital ship using spacer. If he had to.
So ultimately, the question comes down to what is the cool thing that you want to do?
This is my thought. We take a couple of the fighters, drop all weapons off of them to get them lighter. Because if we're going to tug a pod, we're going to want that fighter to be as light as it can.
Why are we doing that?
Because the
I may have
pods
missed that. I
because we don't have
know.
enough spaces for people. No butts
So we don't
to
have to
seat
leave somebody.
capability.
We've got 6 ships and 6 of us.
7.
7.
Plus a drone. Because we
Plus
also
3
have
corpsicles. Crucicles.
We have 7 people plus a drone. Now the drone doesn't really count because we can mount him. We can just hard fix him to a hard point
Yeah.
on the shuttle. He doesn't care about breathing and stuff.
Alright,
Right,
life pods are capable of 1.5 G. Fighters are capable of 6 G.
Yeah.
Is that enough
So
to
really,
get out of a black hole?
Okay, we could put somebody in a freezer and basically
That's an
mount
idea.
it as a centerline tank on one of the fighters. That's probably as close as we could get.
Oh.
That's a good idea. That's actually a pretty good idea.
Because if we could get one or two of the crucicles who may or may not live through this, they'd be witnesses.
That's true.
All right, so Sai will get to work disarming the fighters.
We get Abe transferring the crucicles to pods that could be used there.
Eris, you're probably going to want to start, basically matching the control from like a couple of fighters. So if one does it, the other one does it. So basically hive mind them. That way, if any one of us kind of loses it, the others can control it.
Buck, Hank, and Eddie can manage mounting the pods.
Yep.
That leaves Ella with directing traffic.
Well, she's got pilot, right?
Screwed.
So she could be pre-flighting with
That's
Sai.
true. Okay, well, I think we got a plan.
Still need a destination.
Well,
Away.
One thing at a time.
away right now is
Right.
more important than where away. I mean, if we have to, we might just have to hope and pray that whoever gets stuck in the freezer we can freeze them and then just start transmitting emergency signals, and maybe somebody one day comes along and saves them. The rest of us turn
Here's
into
a thought.
people's.
One PC or XPC is going to have to ride in the freezer.
Here's a thought. This is Traveller. We need to get on the comms and say, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is the free trader Beowulf.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're
We
not
don't
the
have-
Beowulf.
And we don't have any power.
Yeah, but it's classic.
And we don't have power.
Oh,
And I'd be tempted to say Cryptor anyway.
One of the pods will have power for radios. It's quite possible that there is a research facility in this station, in the system.
This is not a system. This is a black hole.
People study black holes.
If there's a station here, it's much farther away, or it's not stationary.
Yeah, he's like, this isn't a system. It's a black hole. Yeah, right.
Well, I
Black
guess
holes.
it used to be a
A
system.
black hole will be perfectly safe as long as you can achieve orbit, and you have the appropriate radiation shielding.
Is that an actual planet? Or planetoid right there on that image?
I don't know, is it? Yeah, it's clearly one, but that's not
probably
someplace you
caught.
necessarily want to be there.
Yeah, it's probably caught in the pool.
Yeah, regarding the air tanks and all that stuff, those fighters have very limited storage capability.
Right. That's why we're thinking, if you're in go, basically in your vac suit, plug yourself into the spider's, air supply, and then whatever else you can hand off in and out kind of stuff. But I mean, there's got to be something.
Well, we know what we're familiar enough probably with the model that we know what its endurance most likely is, and there's probably very little you can do about it beyond that. Although, well, you get your own suit supply and everything.
And that's why I was thinking if you have your own, if you bring extra.
So the UPP is E0000120A. We are escaping to nothing.
Yep.
Crap.
Wait a second.
And it's a red zone. So on top of there being nothing here, no one is coming here.
Of course it's a red zone. There's a freaking black hole here.
Oh, Jesus. We are screwed.
They pretty much say, don't ever go there. Ever.
All right. Well, ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, let's be screwed for a few minutes longer.
We're
What sort
gonna
of
prolong
G?
our inevitable death.
What sort of G do we need to escape?
Enough that the fighters can produce.
Actually, what was the... Well, I guess that really doesn't matter.
Because you can jury-rig... We could jury-rig the pod engines to overload, if that's going to be enough.
Well, 6Gs ought to be enough. We're not flattened against the bulkheads right now.
We won't be, because we're falling. We should... Without power, we should be floating in freefall.
Everybody's going clonk, clonk, clonk as they walk around with the mag boots.
Well,
We'll
we're accelerating
falling,
towards
so
the black hole. Yeah,
we'll be accelerating the other direction.
correct.
Which is a big go.
Yeah, we're in freefall. If we're falling into the black hole, we're in freefall.
No. If we're falling, we're accelerating. We're not in free fall.
We're
What's
accelerating
really
towards the black hole.
stinks is most of our gear is not with us.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of nice because it'll be there, you know, maybe when we come back.
Yes, but you got to remember, we're accelerating at the same rate that the ship is accelerating, so we're falling.
Right.
We
are
are
in
not
free fall.
necessarily accelerating with the ship.
Yes, we are.
Well,
And the power's out, so we don't have artificial gravity, so we're probably stuck to the ceiling if it's accelerating at any real G's.
No, we're in freefall. That's how physics works.
All right.
well,
We
Moving
agree.
on.
It's like a plane. You know,
Moving on.
Okay.
Stop.
we have a plan. It's not much of a
Right.
plan.
So, what is this plan?
So, basically, strip down the fighters, strap some freezer pods to hard points, and throw a lottery for those who can't fly fighters, and figure out who gets to the joy of being frozen, or at least ride it out in a pod.
I think Abe actually has to be the one to put people in the freezer.
I think you can put yourself in a freezer, but
Well, we don't have to freeze
Yeah.
the person necessarily.
I don't know why you'd want to ride in one of those things without being frozen. It's not made for life support that way.
Well, I mean, it'd be one heck of a view if you.
You'll be frozen.
Well, if you're not frozen.
I'm getting claustrophobic just thinking about it. Let's freeze them.
So, Who is piloting what?
All right. So Sai's got piloting.
Who
Hank's
can't
got
pilot?
Who can't fly something?
Buck.
Eris only has contragrav.
Same.
So we got 2 people without high performance.
Eris
So
needs-
one of you 2 is defaulting.
Who's,
Do you have luck, Eris?
Yes.
I think you should do it.
This ship has no aircraft.
all right. So that would also mean. All right. So we'll also slew the systems together, so that if something, any one of us can take command of another fighter, or at least give it simple commands like keep going forward in case like something happens to the pilot. And that will be Eris's job.
So, who is doing the actual piloting? I mean, is it just one person who is going to, or
Right.
is everyone that is actually behind the cockpit presuming to fly their own?
Thoughts on that, guys? All of us fly independent, except for whoever has, with kind of fail safe to allow somebody else to fly your fighter, or we all
Well,
fly independent.
can these fighters be slaved? Do they have slave
We all turn
modules?
to look at Eris.
If they can't be slaved, then we're flying.
Do they have
Okay.
wireless?
Okay,
Probably
a vote
not
against slaving would be if if the master fails, everyone fails.
True. That might just be too complicated too. We might just fly and
And
hope that everyone's got the skill to do it.
if they don't have slave modules, then we're going to have to spend time jury rigging something up, and the more
Which we
time
may
we
not have.
waste, the more time we lose
Good point.
accelerating away from this place.
We only have one scene.
Yeah.
We have an A-team scene right now, guys. So we could,
Oh, well, if we only got one
time
scene,
for-
we might as
we've got
well.
time for a short montage.
We'll MacGyver some new engines with some matchsticks and duct tape.
I think there's some bleach in the science lab. We can use that. No, it seems unlikely that they would have any sort of slave capability.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have remote, because they're going to probably be able to be remote landed or recovered. But flying away is not going to be that difficult. It's just what we do after that that's really going to be an issue, and we can sort of coordinate once we get clear. Or clear enough.
Let's do it then.
Right. So, who's piloting?
Eddie will pilot.
Oh.
I was just gonna stick people there.
Does the Sparrowhawk have any interior, like deck plans?
I
think they might.
don't think
Well, no.
so.
It's just got a bloody cockpit.
Yeah, it's just a cockpit.
So, but we don't know if it's a 2-seater or a 1-seater.
It's a 1-seater.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very Viper-esque.
Maybe we should put Eddie with Eris so they cancel each other out.
I know. I want to live.
I mean, that's what I mean. Is you would make sure Eddie lives, and Eddie would make so you guys
I'm more concerned
cancel
if I
it
live.
out.
I was thinking since Buck volunteered to go crucicle because Eris had luck, that Eris would need to be the one to fly him.
Right.
That's what I was hoping. But once I'm in the bin, whatever happens is out of my control.
Yeah, at least you won't feel it. Yeah, I forgot about Eddie. Crap.
Well-
Okay, so Sai is piloting.
Sai will be a pilot. Yeah.
Oh my God, so that means, oh boy. Abe is wildly unenthusiastic about this. So, okay, so we've got four sleepers, including Buck. We'll also need. Yeah. Well, let's see. We're also going to need something for the jury rig. I'm wondering how that's gonna.
Probably spaceship
Group.
mechanic.
Probably do a group. Well, Spacer could work, or mechanic.
It's spaceship mechanic is probably the most, or starship.
I would presume it's going to be. I'm thinking mechanic starships probably makes the most sense. I'm okay with the group thing. Does everybody actually have that?
So you would have
do?
me do that before you put me to sleep, I assume.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
The alternative is, do we have a really good pilot amongst us?
No.
For about 12s and 13s, I
Wait
think.
a sec. These escape pods, do they have... they must have like tow points or something for when they get picked up.
That is too much weight to be towing with one of these fighters.
Well, they're
And at
capable of
6G.
1.5 G. Fighters are capable of 6G. So you're going to get whatever the average is. So that's what, 3 point something
No.
G.
That's bad idea.
And if 3
That is-
point something G is enough,
We
No,
got
that's not going to be
we got
enough.
it covered as it is, and adding the weight and bulk of the pod is not going to make the fighter fly better.
no, it
So-
won't fly better. But we don't need to put someone into cryo.
Pods are fine.
Cryo's no big deal. I've done it lots.
So it looks like Hank and Ella actually have the best pilot skills, and they are at 13. With Sai coming in right after there with his 12, and then poor Abe at 11, going,
What's the maneuver? What's the maneuverability of these?
wait, I didn't even look at Eddie.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, all we gotta
Eddie's
do is
also
point-
11.
Fortunately, all we got to do is point that way and full thrust.
Yeah, we're not trying to do anything super fancy with them. Turn it on and open the throttles.
But we will need to determine which way that is first, because that will be important.
Yeah, that could be what Ella's doing, is plotting our
Yeah, that's
nav
true.
point.
We've got two options. Well, we've only got one option. Depends on which way our ship is orbiting. Is our ship orbiting with the rotation of the black hole or against it?
With?
Then that's the direction we have to fly.
All right. So Ella will nav up our path the way we need to fly. And go ahead and get all of the information disseminated out to each of the fighters so that everybody has the same information.
I just thought of another Hank interesting man thing. Continue.
So, Navril?
Yes, please. Sorry. All right.
What was it? Quickly.
Black holes will let him escape.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't even see Buck's roll there. That was the mechanic to jury-rig the stuffs.
Yes.
All right, so we spend some time getting this stuff squared away, and nobody is probably particularly enthusiastic about this plan, but the Drake is shaking and shimmying, and you hear the groans, and it's less enthusiastic about actually staying here.
Eddie, being unlucky, goes to power up his fighter, and there's no power.
Go.
Ice him and attach it to one of the other fighters. Either ice him and do that, or ice Eris and let Eddie fly.
Have we put Thingo into sleep yet?
Put who to sleep?
Well, we
Buck.
would have. Buck would have. Eddie would have probably found that out before.
This
It
is
was
true.
time to go to
because we were
this is
doing
true.
pre-flight checks on all of them.
So it appears that one of the fighters is inoperable.
Over
Oh,
comms.
no.
plan for somebody else to go under, sleep.
Over
Not on my
comms.
watch.
Buck, I hope you're still awake.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it
you're
would
gonna
have
have.
been known that the fighter was out of
Yeah,
not able to be powered up before I went into cryo. So
yeah, because you're gonna do pre-flight and stuff like that to make sure these things are operational. And in the process, when Eddie pointed to that particular fighter and said, "I'm going to use that one," everybody's like, "Yeah, whatever." And when you finally got over there, you saw, oh, they were apparently tearing it down for some reason.
It's the spare part machine.
That's right.
So what is that, mechanic maneuver drive to try to jury rig it together?
This thing ain't gonna fly.
You're gonna have to fly without
Oh.
a cockpit.
All right,
It's
I'll
one
mess
of
with it for a
those.
few minutes and then throw my wrench and say nope.
Yeah, it's exactly like Mark says, and that's the spare part plane where they were rating
pulled
it
everything
for.
useful out of this thing. It's a shell. It's an art installation shaped like a fighter.
You go over and
This
push
thing
it,
will
and it
never
just
fly.
collapses.
Yeah.
Okay, whose bad luck is this? Because that means Eris is gonna freeze.
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly a pilot, so that's fine with me.
Don't worry, we'll strap
Jim right next to you on the hard point. So
Yeah, that's what I was
if you
thinking.
guys go down, you guys are going down together. Or just make sure you download your consciousness to Jim, and then forever you'll be stuck floating in space as a AI consciousness, just going crazy over a long period of time.
So,
That's kinda
Eris,
dark.
you don't have the skill to fly?
I have pilot contragrav, not high performance.
Righto.
Yeah, totally. Before this freaking even remotely happens, once Abe finds out he's going to be piloting the thing with Buck, he is going to totally go over there and do the whole. I'm going to do everything I can to keep you alive, man.
Yeah, stop
Yeah.
talking about it.
It's fine.
Do want to remind the GM that was a self-imposed bad luck. The GM still has a bad luck to
I know.
use.
Not entirely sure how I'm going to play with that, but that's okay. Actually, no, that's it. I don't. I discreetly used one. I just didn't tell you.
Oh, when my
so
brain
your bad
fried.
luck was used up
Yeah.
until you decided to go for the BF trophy.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. No, I need one of them to fail it just for amusement's sake, and yours was closer to near failure than Buck's was.
So Eddie was a convenient plot point.
He was, and then he screwed himself.
That's Eddie's life.
Indeed. Okay. So,
Now we got the scene of the escape jump.
indeed, everybody's like, oh boy, hey, you got freezers and fighters and not really super experienced pilots like Hank and, not Hank, but Eddie and Abe. All right. So, this is most definitely not a what's the word, routine thing or anything like that. So we are definitely going to be doing some piloting checks.
What tech level are these fighters?
10 or 11.
It wasn't
They're
that long
only-
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's spread out, and we see it could be different tech levels according to the area.
Seems unlikely the military would be less, though.
Yeah, I'll probably go with 11. It's just the people that are normal, they look at it and go, yeah, that's probably kind of old.
We probably will have a handling bonus of some kind.
About room,
+2.
I say.
Tech level 11 fighter, +2 with a stability rating of 4.
Actually, Eris. No, these aren't probably rigged for interface pilots.
Nope. Because, if you recall, super cyborgs are looked down upon. The more cyborg you get, the more they start thinking, are you a robot?
Well, thankfully,
That's a
when I'm
lot of
wearing
sixes,
clothes,
Hank.
all they
Yeah, that was a bit worrisome.
Dude, I got a frickin' 13. What are you talking about?
Remember, everyone's +2 on this roll.
Right.
Ha!
I'm success by 4 then.
All right, so you managed to get the hatches open. I wonder how that actually normally works.
It's probably like I said. There's probably a explosive bolt blow the doors off thing for emergencies.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So we blow the things open and everybody launches. There's the visceral thrust. You're shoved back into your seat as the thing struggles out, and well, hey, it's a really nice view, but naturally, the fighter is screaming all sorts of alarms because, well, it doesn't like this particular area at all for some crazy reason. The fighters shimmy and shake and shudder. I've used shimmy entirely too much in this.
And we're all puddles in the G couch.
Yeah, Sai is not howling. He's thrust back into the acceleration thing. Let's see. That's 6. I'm looking. Right. You know what? I'm actually going to call it right there with the horrific, the launch of the fighters. You guys are exploding out of the thing, and you're pushed back into the acceleration seats, and
Damn.
we're gonna stomp that's when the
up.
what?
You messed up. You should have had us all roll those pilot rolls secret.
That's fine. Yeah, I did. And yeah, the big to be continued thing gets stomped. Yeah, damn, I wish I had thought about that. Damn. Now I'm frustrated. Damn it, Lunsford. All right, so we will end there. A little earlier than about the right time.
Close enough.
Everybody will get the point.
Interesting scenario.
Yeah, I definitely like to
Very
know.
creative.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a huge difference between Traveller fighters and spaceships fighters. Tech level 11 Traveller fighter has 6G acceleration. Tech level 11 space fighter or spaceships fighter has 300G acceleration.
Oh my
Good
god.
God.
Man,
Sure that's not a typo?
No, that's probably right. They have some slightly craziness in there.
It's a huge jump from tech level 10 to tech level 11. Like a tech level 10 fighter has 3G. Tech level 11 is 300. Tech level 12, 1500.
Actually,
Logarithm.
that just reminded me that we should have G compensation in these things, so we would not necessarily be planted into the seat.
Ah! They weren't working as well as they should have.
It took a second for him to catch up.
Yeah, all right.
Points.
Yep.
Things sure look bad for our heroes.
Uno.
That's right. Can I have get the character point here? And then we'll pick up with crazy next week.
Oh man.
Yeah. Just as a reminder, I will probably be late.
All right.
Nothing bad will happen to you while you're gone.
I'm sure it won't.
I have a 3-hour seminar, but it ends early enough that I don't expect to be late. If I am late, that's why.
Gotcha. But yeah, definitely hope everybody at least had a little fun.
oh
That's
yeah,
good.
absolutely.
Definitely.
All right, so we're good to end the stream.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for joining us, stream.
Bye, stream.
Good night, stream.
Bye-bye, stream.
Good night, stream.
Good night,
Adios, folks.
stream. Night, John boy.
Good night, Moon.